Thank you for joining the workshop.
Thank you.
Pick a nice spot in the audience where you feel comfortable. We will wait for, I think, another 2 minutes to give everybody the chance to hop in. I want to start when everybody that wants to join is in the room. So yeah, feel free to just chat with each other. You're not muted. Or chat with me. Tell me something about yourself.
Hi, Dana.
Oh, hey. How are you doing?
Sorry, good. I just teleported myself on the stage.
Well, you want to stand next to me? Go ahead.
Yes, I'm used to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nice and busy. Nice and busy.
Yeah, yay. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're also concerned about the hygiene and safety of using your VR headset and sharing it among others, because I also think it's really important.
Yes.
All right. I think it's time to start because there's a lot to talk about, and I don't want to waste any time or don't have time in the end to answer your questions or group discussion or anything like that. So let's start if everybody's ready. Welcome to this workshop. This workshop will be about the use of VR headsets on multiple people and how to do that safely and hygienically. I will have to mute the audience to prevent any background noises because this space is a bit tricky for not muting the audience at all. That doesn't mean that you can't talk to me because I will activate the raise hand button in a minute. Yes, so at the bottom right of your screen, you will see a raise hand button now. That button you can click if you have a question or you want to say anything. If you click that, I can give you a megaphone and we can talk. So feel free to do that at any time during this workshop, because I really would like to have a conversation with you guys as well and really make this interactive. So if you click that button, I will see and I will be able to give you some time to talk. So now I will mute you all, but you can still talk by clicking at the raise hand button. So, okay, now you're all muted. You can also communicate with me by throwing up emoticons. You can find them at the bottom left on your screen next to your menu button. So that works as well. That's really nice for me as well. So I have an idea what you're thinking. Yeah. Okay, so welcome. I'm not here alone. I'm also here with the research team and some members of the educators in VR community. So my research team is here. Fox and Diamond are moderating. Laurel is here as well for support. Tony is filming the live stream to YouTube. So hello everybody who is watching the live stream. Thank you very much. If you have any questions in the live stream, you can send me a chat on YouTube and I will take that into account. So I have the screen open. I will see your questions coming in as well over there. So you can also join the workshop. Furthermore, Anthony is here. Michael, are you here as well? Michael, I think he is still doing his course at university at this moment in time. And Sam is here as well. And they are all here to help me out and support me and make sure these events will go as planned. So thank you so much, guys. All right. Yeah, let's go. So a very brief introduction. If you don't know me yet, I'm Evelyn Eido, and I'm currently working as a psychologist and educational expert at Cirrus VR in the Netherlands. I design and advise about VR training and assessment for technical vocational education. And I'm currently finishing my master's in educational science and technology by doing research about assessment of VR training. I'm researching how to collect and interpret data and how to get it out of these VR trainings we are developing. But during my research, COVID started. So that was not great news for me, especially because I have to collect data with the use of VR headsets on multiple participants. So I was a bit worried that I could not continue my research because of the safety problem which comes by using multiple headsets on multiple people, and how to do that safely. I had no clue about how to do that. So I thought, let me do some research about that too, to see if I can still save my research. So hygiene and safety are always important to consider when using VR headsets and controllers on multiple people. It became clear that the current procedures would not be sufficient anymore. So using baby wipes, etc., to wipe off any dirt of your controllers, that wouldn't cut it anymore. So therefore, I needed updated information about best practices and how to safely use VR headsets to continue my research project. So after doing a lot of research and talking to people in the VR community, I wrote this article in which I try to summarize everything you need to know about using VR headsets hygienically and safely during COVID-19, but also during the flu season and in general, of course. You can find the link to the article in the event description or on the Educators in VR website and on my LinkedIn page. So if you want to read more about that in more detail, you can always read the article. So I will go into more detail later on and tell you what we're going to talk about this workshop after I give you a quick disclaimer, because as I said, I am not a medical expert. I have done extensive research and I have talked to a lot of people, but this doesn't mean that I am a medical expert. So take this into account. It's merely a summarization of our findings. Just saying, I have to tell you this little disclaimer. Yeah. Okay, so during this workshop, we will go over topics that I discussed in my article. Considering the time and the fact that I want to make this workshop as interactive as possible, I will not go into more detail than necessary. You can always read the article if you want to know more, and you can always contact me as well. I'm really open to discussion and to help you out with your research project or other projects, because I think that's pretty fun to do as well. I really enjoy that. So I'm really curious about the challenges you are facing considering this problem. I will go over some areas that pose a high safety risk considering the use of VR headsets on multiple people. So when you recognize an area that is applicable to you, throw me some emoticons, and you can find that at the bottom left of your screen. So when you want to do that, you can just throw up some hearts, some other faces. I don't really mind, as long as I can see what your opinion is. So let me start with the first area that poses a high risk. And I'm curious if you recognize that in your own situation. So VR location-based entertainment industry, this is an area that poses a high risk. Who is working in the VR location-based entertainment industry? Think about game halls, things like that. All right, nobody. Another high-risk area is showcasing events or larger gatherings in general where headsets are swapped between people. Has anybody? Yeah, me too. Yeah, I see some emoticons. Yep. Yeah, me too. That's of course a high safety risk and very difficult to do. The next situation is VR labs that use VR among multiple people. Who owns or works or uses a VR lab? Awesome, good to know. All right, yep, that's also tricky. Furthermore, we have, of course, education that uses VR among multiple people. So if you're working in education, yes, there are a lot of people, of course. We are at Educators in VR. Yep. Yes, so this also counts vocational education, I guess. So I'm also part of this risk area. And last but not least, headsets that are used on a daily basis by multiple people. And think about training with headsets, or when you swap headsets between friends or family, that counts as well. Who does that? I certainly do. Yeah, it's really fun to share your friends some VR experiences, right? Yep. All right, so I have seen that a lot of you can place themselves in one of these risk areas. And so you phrased this problem as well. So I would like to invite you to ask questions during this workshop, which may be about details, so I can make this workshop more applicable to your situation as well. So feel free to click the raise hand button. I already see that there are some questions, so I will open a question at 1 second. So I am also curious if you have any specific topics or questions that you would really like to get answered. You can click the raise hand button as well, and I can go into detail with that during this workshop. I can take it into account. I already got one from Diamond who said that she uses her headset for workouts, and that she really wants to know how to do that hygienically, because of course when you work out you sweat a little bit, or maybe a lot, depending on how much you sweat. How you can do that hygienically, that's a really good question. So I will take that into account later on. All right, let's go to a question or a suggestion. Moody, I think you now have access to a megaphone. Do you have a question or something you want to hear during this workshop? I don't know about you guys, but I can't hear Moody. Nope. Moody, if you can hear me, I don't know. Please try and hit the raise hand button again, so I can try again. And we will go on to another question or suggestion first from Mikael. Here you go, Mikael. I have given you access to a megaphone. I think you have to accept that as well. Yeah, all right, there you go. I can hear you. Awesome.
Okay, so what was the question? Sorry.
You clicked your raise hand button, so I was wondering if you have a question or a suggestion or something you want to know.
Sorry, something was happening outside the VR, and maybe I clicked it.
Right.
I'm sorry, really sorry.
And don't worry about it. Just stay put. I don't mind. I will try somebody else. Let me see. We have Lalakish. I think you might have a question or a suggestion or something you want to get answered. We can't hear you. I can't hear him. Can you guys hear him or her? I don't know. Nope. Wow. Well, let's try, all right? We have Dana Maria. Let us check if we can hear you.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Awesome.
Great. Yes.
Go ahead.
So my question is, I'm working with VR as a coach, and I also want to help big organizations with their employees that are now sitting at home to have their headsets. Of course, if every one of them needs a headset, so I'm targeting 200 organizations with like 200 people, employees. So if everybody needs a headset, it's now going to be a problem. Is there an easier way, do you think, to
so normally you would have like a dedicated space or something like that where the employees can use the VR headset, but at the current moment that is not possible because they're sitting at home. Do I understand it correctly?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So normally you would have maybe a system to clean and then.
Yes, good point. Yeah, I will definitely get into that point. I hope I can get it answered, and I think I can because I'm also working with a lot of different employees that need to use a certain headset. So I hope I can help you with that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hello? I don't hear anything anymore.
Oh, I
right.
muted myself. Sorry.
Yes, you did. All right, Evelyn, are you back?
It was me.
I am back. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Technical difficulties. So what can you expect from this workshop? The topics we will go over to answer the question of Dana Maria and also Diamonds, and also any other questions, of course, are the topic of detergents and hand sanitizers. We will talk about different face pads for your headset. We will talk about cleaning with UVC-light and nanotechnology. And lastly, but not least, of course, education for your staff, clients, or students, depending on where you work. So that are the topics we are going to talk about. And of course, there will be plenty of time for questions or suggestions, anything like that. You also see a model of a headset over here, which we will use to demonstrate certain things or point at certain risk areas on your headset. I mean, we are in VR, so we can use that. We can use models, so why not, right? Let's start with the detergents and hand sanitizers. So like I said, the baby wipes that we are used to are not cutting it anymore. The regular antibacterial wipes as well, they usually do not kill the COVID-19 virus, so that's not sufficient anymore. You should know that COVID, among other viruses as well, but COVID survives 72 hours on plastic. And as you know, your headset is mostly made of hard plastic, especially the front of the headset and the headbands in this case are made of hard plastic. So it survives a maximum of 72 hours, which is a lot. Of course, you can quarantine your headset as well. You're not the only one who can get quarantined. So if you don't use your headset for 72 hours, you are pretty much safe, because you have to know as well, 72 hours is the longest time they have measured that it survives. And unfortunately, that is specifically on plastic. So on the other materials, it's less time. So I guess that's bad news for our VR headset users, but good news in general if you are using any other materials. So yeah, that's something you can do. You can quarantine your headset, but we are talking about detergents and hand sanitizers. So different detergents have different effects on the survival of COVID. And ethanol-based seems to be the most efficient against viruses and COVID-19. And it's also the most readily available, right? You have all used these hand sanitizers or other detergents in shops maybe, or you have seen it on TV. They all use alcohol. So that does really work. It's proven that it works. But you have to take into account that the concentration of alcohol should range from 60 to 80%. If it's lower, it doesn't work. If it's higher than 80%, it also doesn't work. And that really surprised me when I found it out, because when you use a higher percentage of alcohol, this causes that the proteins of the virus are not destroyed. This is because it needs the presence of water. And a higher percentage will not have as much water in it. So then it evaporates also very quickly, and there's no time for the virus to get killed, among some other details. So please take that into account, that it should be between 60 and 80. I would advise a minimum of 70% just to make sure. I always use the percentage of 70 or higher. So when cleaning your headset with alcohol, make sure all surfaces are wet. Use a wipe. And really look at that you make every surface wet. So especially the areas, for example, inside of the headset over here, that touch your face, or which you have touched with your hands, like the outside of the headset over here. I always grab my headset over here. Really make sure you hit all these spots with the detergent. And then it's wet. It's pretty wet with alcohol, so make sure you let it dry. It takes a couple of seconds I think, about 30 seconds for it to fully work. So that's also something you have to take into account. Give it some time to dry. About hand sanitizers, also the same percentage are counting here. So range from 60 to 70% of alcohol concentration. Make also sure that you apply them the right way. So 30 seconds, and cover everything, cover every surface of your hands, just like with washing your hands. It's not that different, but take your time to do that. So pick up enough hand sanitizer and just take your time. Furthermore, this is also something I found out. If you want to clean your headset with alcohol, you might already have thought about, does this damage my headset? And to be fair, it probably does. So that was not good news for me. If you look at the instructions of manufacturers, they always say, please be careful with quite aggressive detergents, and alcohol is one among them, because it can damage the headset. It can dissolve certain plastics, can make it less flexible or discolor it, and it will also create permanent smudges on the lenses of the headset. So make sure you take that into account. At work, for me at work, we have chosen one headset that is already a bit old. So we kind of sacrificed that in the beginning when we were using detergents. So we at least knew that it was safe, but we were also not too disappointed when it would become damaged. I have to say it has not been damaged yet. Well, we at least have cleansed it, I think, 30 or 40 times now with alcohol. It's not a lot, I know, but I think that's good to know. It's not like that it immediately breaks or something like that. So don't use detergents on the lenses. Please don't do that. They will damage and you can throw your headset away, and that is not what you want. So in conclusion, a concession has to be made by potentially damaging your headset or and protecting your users when choosing disinfection methods, or protecting yourself, of course. So I am wondering if anybody has a question or suggestion about this topic. Can you please raise your hand if you do? I have removed all the previous raised hands just to make sure that it doesn't happen that I pick somebody who is not interested in asking a question. All right, Jillian, you have a question or suggestion. Here is.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I purchased some silicone covers for both the handsets and for the headsets, and I'm assuming that that's different from the hard plastic, and so there might be some difference in time. And I've heard some people buy multiple and just trade them out. And some of them are leather. The piece that actually touches your hands. Can you comment on hand sanitizer for any of those?
Sorry, you were the audio was glitching. What products are you referring to? I couldn't hear you.
Some silicone covers.
For your controllers, right?
And
or
for the handset, it depends on the handsets. Both.
All right. Okay, that's a really good question. Actually, that is the next topic as well. So I can tell you a little bit about that. It's a really good option as well to think about changing your general face pad that you get when you buy the headset. For example, with the Quest, you get like a face pad that is very absorbent of moisture. I don't know what headset you have, Jillian.
I have purchased the one you have on the right or the left there.
Yeah.
But I also bought some silicone ones as well.
All right, cool.
And
so
you
that means
talked
that
about 72 hours for the hard plastic, but does that include silicone?
Yes, unfortunately, probably, yeah. To be safe, I would say yes, for sure.
right.
So you still, when you buy like, let's start at the beginning with the face pads. Maybe some people don't know about the silicone or other face pads. So Gillian was talking about changing the standard face pad. So the face pad, as you probably now know, is the thing that touches your face in the headset. You can pick that out of your headset and replace it with another one. And the best things to pick, I would say, are the face pads that are not moisture absorbent, because that means that you can clean it off with detergent, or you can clean off any sweat or any dirt. That I really would say consider that when you're using a headset. Furthermore, you have cotton face pads, as you can see on the right over here. I don't know if it's clear or if you already know about this. This is basically like a cover of the existing face pad. And it's pretty comfortable, but the thing is, it's not, it doesn't stop moisture from getting through. So if you would sweat a lot, if you would be working out like that, like Diamond is doing right now with her headset, then it would just seep through. Honestly, it's not a problem because you can just pick it off and wash it, put it in your washing machine and clean it that way. But for COVID, you don't want COVID. That's also in moisture droplets to seep through, right? Because then it's still on your face pad that is underneath the cover. So I would suggest if you consider this, you would buy like a not moisture absorbent face pad, and you can just put it in your headset. For cleaning that was the question, right? If you want to clean that, you can pick it out of your headset. So you have like it's easy to handle, it's easy to just clean off with detergent and like tissue or whatever, and let it dry, and then you can reuse it. But as I said, the face pad is not the only thing that touches your face, so make sure you clean the rest as well. Does that answer your question, Gillian? Oh, I will put you on megaphone again. Sorry, I can't hear you otherwise.
Yeah, that's fine. Also, I bought red ones to remind people that it's dangerous.
Ah, I love that. And to remind yourself that you have to clean it.
Yes, so it's bright red. I think that kind of does it.
Where did you bought it?
I just did Amazon searching, and spent a lot of time looking for red silicone and red leather, so that it had a visual remind.
Awesome! I love that. That's really fun. I like it. Cool. All right. So indeed, you can find these face pads on Amazon probably, but you can also find them at VR Cover. That's the one I use. It's a bit expensive, but it's nice. It's fake leather, so that's nice for me. But there are a lot of other options. Just Google and you will find.
I wonder if we know whether COVID is actually comes through your pores at all. Do we know that? Is that another one of those questions?
I am not a medical expert, but I think that is not the case. But I am a bit hesitant to answer that. I think it's just moisture through, which comes through maybe your eyes or your mouth or with coughing, you know. So
that's what I was going to say too, but I was concerned.
But it can be on your skin, so don't forget that. So if you would cough and it will still touch your face, or you touch your face with the virus on it, it will of course still be there. That's something to consider. Yep. Thank you for your question. That's awesome. Considering the time, if somebody has another question, please save it for the end. We will try and answer it then, because there are a lot of other things we can do. One last thing about these face pads, from my experience, like I said, the ones who are not hydrophobic, so when they let through moisture, they are not safe. But I have to say they do stop makeup smudges and stuff like that, or your fat on your face, right? How do you say it? Like I know you know your skin has some secretions, so that does stop it. So I still use them like as an extra on my VR cover for clients, just to make sure that they feel extra comfortable. Sometimes it's also something in the mind. So it's just like an extra measure, which actually doesn't help against COVID, but it does help against makeup smudges, etc., and just the feeling of being safe. So that's something to take into account. And we also have cleaning with UVC-light, and this one is a little bit more complicated, but it really works well, and I'm really enthusiastic about this method. I don't know who has heard about this method before. Give me some emoticons. Is it known among you guys? Yeah, a couple of you know about it. That's cool. All right. So this has been around for a while. It has been used in the medical world for cleaning stuff for a long time. So it's not really a new technology, but it is a new idea for VR headsets or other head-mounted displays. So UVC-light, what is this? Is this sunlight? Can I just put my headset in the sun? Will that work? No, it is not sunlight. You are confusing UVC light with UVA or UVB light. So that maybe it gets a little bit complicated right now, but you have different types of UV light with different wavelengths, and the UVC lights which come from the sun, so UVA and UVB, have a different wavelength than the UVC light. If you want to know details, check out the article and the references at the end of the article. So they have different wavelengths, and therefore they have another effect on your headset. You have to know that the UVA and the UVB headset will damage the lenses. I think you probably have heard this, but when you put your headset outside in sunlight, it will burn through the screens like how do you say it? Vergrootglas. I don't know the English word. I'm sorry, but the displays will get damaged. You will see like spots, like light spots on it. So please don't put it into the sunlight to get clean or get rid of the COVID virus. That doesn't work. It will just damage your headset. That's not how it works. But the UVC light doesn't do that. So that's great. It doesn't. It has no negative effect on the lenses. It's a really safe way considering killing the COVID virus or other viruses, bacteria, or fungi, because it basically destroys the DNA of these microorganisms as well, and viruses as well. So it's destroyed when the UVC light hits them. So it's not that simple though. It's a bit complicated. And I won't go into too much detail, but I want to tell you what you have to look out for, so you are not misinformed about this and will just buy a random UVC wand or something like that. So the things you have to take into account are that you need to take into account the specific distance from the light to the headset. Furthermore, you have to take into account a specific time that the headset needs to get disinfected. Also, the specific wavelength of the light is important. And lastly, you have to take care that there are no shadows, because then the light doesn't hit your headset. So it's pretty tricky, as you know now. It's not that easy. So we have a wonderful model of the headset over here. As you can see, there are a lot of options for shadows, right? If you would shine a light on this thing, you will have shadows. It's tricky. It's really difficult. So you have to make sure that all the risk areas of your headset, all the areas that touches your face or touch your hands, are being hit by UVC light. Also, at a certain amount of time, certain amount of distance. Now you get the point, right? So there are some companies, as you can see on the picture behind me, that have made professional light boxes, as they call them, for cleaning head-mounted displays or VR headsets. And that is awesome. They have proven that it works. They have done some extensive research on the topic to really prove to their customers that it works, and it's independent research as well, so it's really reliable. Cleanbox is one example. They have figured out that with a wavelength of 265 nanometers, 60 seconds at a certain distance, they can really clean the headset and decontaminate it from any viruses, bacteria, or fungi. This is no advertisement. I think it's really cool that they share all this information with us, and they have a pretty cool product. But the downside is it's pretty expensive. And not only their product is expensive, but in general, if you want to buy a clean box like this or a light box like this, it will cost you some money. So I can roughly estimate the costs for these boxes at different companies. It will be around or between 1,600 euros and 2,300 euros. You can probably find more expensive ones as well. Yeah, that's not great, especially when you're a small company or you are just using your headset for yourself and for family and friends. You won't, probably you won't buy it, right? It's a lot of money. So maybe you think now, let's create a box myself. Please be very careful when you do this. It's really tricky, like I already said, and it's potentially unsafe as well, because UVC is damaging to your skin and eyes, so caution is needed. And you have to be sure that you can properly protect your users as well. So don't play with that risk right there. Really do your research and be very careful. Also try, if you build your own box, to measure if you have done it right. Yeah, I really, please be careful. In the article, you can find an example of making a light box yourself. It's not for VR headsets, but it's for masks. So you will get the idea of what you need to do and how it works. But be very careful, please. If there are any questions about this topic, please raise your hand so I can put you on megaphone. I see Mikael has a question. It was, you raised your hand 6 minutes ago. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot. Do you want to ask something? Hello, Mikael.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. My question is, it wasn't clear to me. Then, how you clean the lenses themselves? You can use alcohol, these alcoholic solutions on them or not?
Good question. No, don't use alcohol. Don't use any detergents that are pretty aggressive, or I think you call it abrasive. Please don't do it. You will damage your lenses. I would advise, when using UVC-light, you don't need to clean them at all. It will be cleaned. You don't have to use any detergents.
Okay.
Guys, can you still hear me? I got a message that my sound is playing up. Can you give me some emoticons if you can hear me properly?
Yep.
All right. Okay, good. Let me know if something is wrong. Then I can change some things. So when using UVC-light, you don't have to clean them. Maybe if there's some dirt on them, you can use a microfiber cloth.
Mm-hmm.
So that works, but don't use any detergents. No, we can't do that, unfortunately.
Okay, but the damage on the lenses is done after one cleaning or after repeated cleaning?
No, it can already be damaged after one time cleaning with alcohol. Okay. It's really sensitive, so please be careful. Okay. Yeah, it's good to know. Don't try.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
Yeah, good question.
Is there for cleaning once or two or twice? Okay.
No, definitely. Good question. I hope I answered it correctly. Yeah, be careful. All right, we have another question from John.
Yes,
Go
thank you
ahead,
for putting
John.
this on. I appreciate it. It's just
Thanks.
UVC I've used it for years, and my air cleaners in the house have UVC in them. I have UVC ones. The problem I'm running into is that even though this technology has been around for years, consumers just are not aware of it. And if I say, this headset or, head-mounted display, more accurately, has been disinfected, using UVC light, it's like, right, yeah. People are just not buying it. There's people are afraid. I mean, so any, comments you have on that to, educate people, to, make them more aware of the fact that this is a mechanism that can sterilize a head-mounted display? Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, that is indeed the case, because you can't really see that anything has happened, right? When you put it in a box, you can see the light go on and the light turns off. Then it's supposedly clean. It has been proven that it is clean, but how do you convince people that it really is the case, right? That's basically your question. Yeah, I have used UVC boxes with clients to clean headsets when swapping headsets between people. And what really helps is when you educate your clients as well on the topic. And that's actually a point we will get back to in a second, how to talk to your clients in a way that they will trust you, that you know what you're doing, etc. So my short answer, which I will come back to in a while, is education and making sure they know what's going on. My other tip will be, I also use these throwaway face pads on the VR cover. So it also helps with a feeling of safety. So it's like an extra measure to make my clients feel more comfortable. So you could consider that. You were talking about wands, though. I have to say be cautious with wands, I don't know. Because, like I said, the distance is really important. The amount of time you let the light hit a certain surface is really, really important. And there's actually not a lot of room for human error there if you want to do it correctly. So please be careful when doing that. And also it's damaging to your skin and eyes if you hold it close. So you don't want to risk any higher risk on skin cancer and these types of things. That's not nice. So please be careful when using that. I hope I will answer the question about educating your staff later on, but it's a really good question. Thank you. All right. Okay, considering the time, we will move on, but please remember your questions. I got a question in the live stream as well. Thank you for putting that in. It's from ML. Still audio problems, I hear. Can everybody hear me? No? Shall I re-enter, Laurel?
Yes.
Okay, let me re-enter.
Close the remote first.
All right, let me do that.
Okay. And I want to, while she's re-entering, I just want to again thank her and the VR researchers team who's here to support this event, and thank all of you for what's going on. For being here and supporting educators in VR, as well as the amazing work that is being done, that Evelyn's doing. I also would like to remind you all that the Virtual World Society is going to be meeting in just less than a couple hours, and right here in AltSpace. The Virtual World Society with Tom Furness is going to be talking to Matt Cook. Oh, you're back. Wonderful. It's going to be talking to Matt Cook, and who created a virtual world, a VR experience for a 10-year-old boy for the Make-A-Wish Foundation in Seattle, so that he could battle robots on the streets of Seattle in VR. And they traveled around, even with all of the COVID stuff. They put a mask on him, and they had it all designed, so he was a great hero. And he took his VR kit with Matt Cook, and they went around downtown Seattle and up in the Space Needle so he could battle robots in VR and save Seattle. So come learn about how it was used, VR for good, in just a couple hours right here in AltSpace with the Virtual World Society meetup. All right, it's all yours. Evelyn, go for it.
Awesome. Thank you. I hope you can hear me better now. Is that the case?
Yes, it's beautiful. Thank you.
Woohoo! All right, good. Let's go. There was a question on the live stream chat. So somebody asked, what about the inside of the headset, the material between the lenses? For Oculus devices, there's a stretchable cloth. How to clean it efficiently? This is a great question, and it's a perfect timing as well. Okay, so I don't know if everybody knows what is meant by ML by this with this question, but he's meaning if you're not sure if you know what I mean. And that's usually very stretchable, like you said. Good point. It's difficult to clean. With the UVC-light, it becomes way easier, of course, because the light will touch it if you make sure that there are no shadows inside of that part of the headset. So that's the thing you could do. With detergents, that won't work. As you probably have imagined, it's really hard to put alcohol on that cloth and then not damage the lenses. And it's just too much of a hassle. You don't want that. But I have another solution for you guys. There is nanotechnology, which is hydrophobic, as you can see on the picture. I'm sure you have seen this before in some advertisement or on TV or something like that. Who has no clue what it is, by the way? Who needs more explanation? All right, so prepare your questions and raise your hand. And I will give you the word. Yeah, Dana Maria, go ahead.
No, I thought you was telling me about that stuff that you did not. That the question
right.
was.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have no clue.
No.
All right, that's good. That's good to know. Good to know. There are some people who had no clue. As you can see on the picture, the water droplets don't stain the shoes; they just drip off them because the spray has been sprayed on the shoe. This is also not an advertisement, but I really like this spray. So what you can do is spray this hydrophobic spray, which makes the shoes or the material you spray it on watertight. You can spray it on the inside of your headset. All right. So one thing you have to do is make sure it doesn't get sprayed on your lenses. You can use paper cutouts just to make sure you don't damage them. I'm not sure if it actually does damage them, I have to say, but I'm a bit too scared to just try. So that is a bit of a too high risk experiment for me. I have seen people do that. I have seen Cleanbox use hydrophobic spray as well, and they just spray it on the lenses. But I don't know. I can't give you that answer. Yeah? Was there a question? All right, no, I think it was an accident. All right, no problem. So you can spray that on the inside of the headset when protecting the lenses, just to make sure. You may try it, but it's on your own risk. So no water can get through or get soaked in. And as you already know, COVID is, you can find it in water droplets, so it can't stick to the inside of the headset as well. So then you can use like a wipe to wipe it off. You can probably even use detergent, but make sure that it doesn't damage the coating. Also think about that the inside of the headset doesn't usually touch your face, and you usually don't touch it as well. So that should also give you like an indication that it's less of a risk area in your headset. But if you wanted to do it the best way, use the nanotech and use the UVC box, and then you're totally safe. Then nothing can go wrong on that part. So I hope you got now a new idea on how to use nanotech. And I think it's pretty fun and a creative way as well. I was really enthusiastic about it because I would never have thought about this myself. It also protects against makeup smudges. Do I need to re-enter the room again? Because I hear that I am breaking up again. Okay, so it's fine.
No,
Okay.
It is breaking up again. And so, yeah, I don't know what's going on. It appears to be a little bit of issue with your internet connection because it's giving some stuttering that it's either your computer or your internet connection isn't stable. So again, while she's re-entering, don't forget about the remote. So let me there instead of standing up on the thing. Hi, everyone. I am so thrilled you're here. I want to tell you a little bit about the VR research group, of which we have some awesome members that are here. And Evelyn Ido is the team leader for that. And there you are. You are back again. And so they meet regularly to talk about VR research. You are one of the fastest re-enterers of all time. So while you're getting the slide set up, they meet regularly to talk about different types of research being done in VR, AR, and XR, but also to have open discussions to help researchers face their challenges. And I'm really, really proud that when COVID-19 hit, one of the great projects that we teamed up to do, Evelyn helped lead, was the Help a VR Researcher project. So if you are doing research in any form of VR for your degree program or whatever it is, we have a special channel on our Discord at discord.me/educatorsinvr. It has an exclamation point. It's the only one with an exclamation point right there on it that says research help wanted, and that is where you can post a link, not an email. We really recommend no email. You post a link to a survey, research questions, appointments, whatever it is that you want to do, so that we can help you spread the word so you can get your research done through our social media channels. So it's back to you, Evelyn. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. So I think I already know the issue. My wonderful partner has also joined this workshop, but then the internet gets drained too much, so I had to ask him to leave. That's a bit sad. So poor him. I hope he can watch the live stream. Trying to support, but not being able to. It happens. All right. We were talking about nanotech, right? So I think I explained how it works, right? What the effect is of the nanotech. How can you get it? You can buy this spray, all around the world, but you have to take into account that in some sprays, I have to say a lot of sprays actually, there are harmful PFAS chemicals in them, which lead to health and environmental problems. So make sure your spray is safe to use. You can find that back on the website usually of the product, or you can email them or look at the packaging. But an example of a spray that is safe is Detrapel. You can find a link in my article to them as well, but they don't send products to the Netherlands, so that's too bad. But there are other options. So you have different sprays for different materials, and we are talking about a VR headset. VR headsets are made from plastic and fabric usually. So the hard plastic is already water resistant. Basically, it doesn't soak up water, so you don't have to spray that. But what you can spray is fabric parts. So you have to buy spray for fabric parts. So follow the instructions on the packaging to know how you should do it. You have to usually spray multiple layers on top of your headset. And so don't spray it on the lenses. You can try, but I'm not sure what will happen. Lastly, nanotech wears off after a while. It differs per product, but sometimes it can take 3 months, depending on the uses as well. So I would go for around 3 months. If you have no clue if it still works or not, how you can test it out, just drop a little water droplet onto the part you have sprayed, and you can see if this happens, like the image behind me or not, and then you can determine if you have to spray it again. So that's a really safe test, also to test if you have put on enough coating. So be smart about that. Yeah, that's nanotech. Does anybody have a question about it? You can click the raise hand button if you have a question about using nanotech. All right, let me give you a couple of seconds to do that. All right. So in the meanwhile, I see a comment at the live stream as well from Mike Porter, who was in a workshop, but he got kicked out, he says. So that's too bad. Can happen. Good that you're still watching. He says, let me quickly read it, that you can buy other detergents as well. So they have a universal range that you can buy on Amazon. He says it's alcohol-free but can kill COVID. They are not cheap, and he says so. And your headset will smell weird, but it's an option for small teams on a budget. All right, that's good to know. There are actually other detergents as well. I only named like the most efficient one and the one who is very readily available for you guys. So you can find a list in the article as well of other detergents that work. But you have to take into account, he says already that it smells weird. My users would not like that. Also alcohol is smells a bit strongly, but you know, you have whatever you like, right? I don't really want my headset to smell weird. And also take into account that some detergents are harmful to your skin. For example, chloride, you don't want that on your skin. So be careful with that, but there are definitely other options. So thank you for the input, Mike. That's really helpful. All right, so question from, how do I pronounce that? Jessie Lynn? I hope I pronounced it right. Go ahead,
Hello?
You can ask a question. Hey.
Oh, I had two questions. One of them was, you said the lenses were, we had to be careful with alcohol. What about the little camera thingies that because those are kind of lenses, that are on like the tips kind of at the front?
Good question. Yes, for sure. I would be careful with them as well. You have to take into account that these parts, especially on, for example, an Oculus Quest, you don't actually touch the lenses. They are really well hidden. So in theory, you only clean the surfaces that have been touched, of course. The virus can't walk. So that is something that prevents you from cleaning these lenses. I have to say, I have not tested out if it would damage the lenses, and I have not found anything, but I would not risk it, as you said. But I can imagine that a slight damage to the lenses inside your headset, these are more vulnerable. You really don't want them to be damaged. So I would say be very careful with using detergents on these cameras, but it's probably less big of a deal if you, by accident, hit them with some detergent. But be careful, yeah.
And
That's
I
another
guess
question?
my second question is more about the presentation. So how did you do the slides, and how is it working so well?
Cool. I would love to talk to you about that after the meeting, so stick around and I will explain that to you.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you.
Thanks that you, I'm really happy that you like the slides. I appreciate it. Cool. Considering the time, I will quickly move on. We are almost through it, and you can always stick around. I will be here to answer any questions. It's a lot of information, and I can imagine that your brain is tired already. But you're almost there. Don't worry. This is the last topic. But I say it's not this is the last, but it's not the least important. It's, I think, actually the most important. Is the thing that I am doing here. I'm trying to educate people on how to do this, but you also can do that to your own staff, clients, students, family members, friends, whatever. Eventually, the behavior of people is just as important as the methods named above. Therefore, it's important to educate people. You can use protocols for that, or just or whatever method you please. Actually, things you could do. Very quickly, you could implement health checks before a client uses a headset. I usually ask people just to make sure if they are experiencing any symptoms, because it could be dangerous for others. They know this, but just to ask helps. You have to be pretty assertive during customer contacts, in my opinion, because some people don't get how important this is, and they don't fully grasp how dangerous it could be for others. So don't be shy about that. You want the best for them. You want the best for their colleagues or anybody around. And they will understand if you talk to them about that and be kind and understanding. But don't go over your boundaries because your client doesn't think it's important or doesn't realize the danger he or she is in. But that's tricky. Building trust helps with your staff, with your family, with your friends, with whomever you're dealing with. So if they trust you, they will also trust that what you say is true. You can do this, of course, in multiple ways, but I prefer talking and informing through email beforehand, for example. And lastly, following the right protocols really helps. It's super clear if you have a protocol for everybody around. You can send it beforehand to your clients. For example, Dana Maria, if you would ever work with clients together when that's possible again, you can send them protocols about how you will deal with this hygiene problem. So they know in advance what they can expect. You know very clearly, step for step, what you have to do. It's super clear if you do it that way. And if you also talk to them beforehand, then you have a good chance of doing it all hygienically and safely. The good news for you guys is that I have published some example protocols in my article. I hope you enjoy them. This is just an example. There are more. You can find them back in the article, and I can send them to you through email if you want them in Word format. Yeah, so this is what I use. This is just a really simple example because it didn't fit the slide properly otherwise. But you can find protocols on UVC-light, on detergents, on users, on staff back in the article. So if you are interested in that, please feel free to check them out. Yeah, and that's actually everything I have to tell right now. There's so much more to talk about. But this is the basis, guys, and I hope you have learned some new things. I would love to answer more questions. I can imagine that you have no time to stick around anymore. That's fine. I hope to stay in touch with you guys. You can find me on LinkedIn, Discord, everywhere around in Altspace. My name is Evelyn Ido, to remember you. To just remember you what my name is, so you can find me back. I really still want to thank the people who have made this all possible, not only the moderators and team members over here, but also the people who have given a lot of input for the article. So I will quickly name them because I think it's really cool that they made this possible. So I really want to thank the CEO of CSVR, the company I work for, Mario Nieuwenhuizen. She gave me a lot of time to work on this article and do this during work hours as well, because this company, CSVR, also finds it really important to share this knowledge and have this knowledge inside the company. So without that time that they gave me, I would not be able to do this. So thank you a lot. Amy Hendricks from Cleanbox Technology also gave me a lot of information and did an interview with me. That is from the UVC-light box. Michael Sang from the University of Michigan. He checked the article multiple times. He did some great research about nanotech for me. He came up with the company Tetrapel as a safe spray to use for your headset. He did a lot, so I'm really grateful for that. Of course, we have Laurel van Vossen. He's also here. Hey, Laurel. Thank you so much for helping me, giving me information about articles you found and checking out my article and also promoting everything. So you also spread a lot of awareness around the topic. Thank you so much for always supporting me. I really appreciate it. There's also Jan Willem van 't Klooster. He's the managing director from the BMS lab at the University of Twente, where I also study. He also gave some great inputs and some great resources for the article. I also have to thank Dana Maria Vanneker. She is always supporting me, and especially this topic because, of course, it concerns her as well. But she goes out of her way to support this and to promote it, and I am really grateful for that. Thank you so much, Dana. Angelina Dayton, aka the VR lady, maybe you have known her. You have heard of her. She also gave me some input and gave me some contacts to ask. And she's really busy with students as well. So she gave me some input on how to deal with students. That's really cool. David Zamarin from Deterpel, he gave us some information about how to use these sprays safely and what to take into account. And last but not least, definitely not least, the wonderful people from the research track from Education in VR, who all provided valuable input and feedback. So it was really a team effort, guys. I really want to make that clear. I just wrote it down. That's all I did, you know. So thank you so much. It's really cool that I had a chance to give back to the community, and I'm grateful that you all showed up. So yeah, that was my monologue. I'm really sorry that it wasn't more interactive. Now you have all the chances to ask questions. Yeah, I will unmute your audience, but if you want to ask a question, it's probably better if you click the raise hand button so everybody can hear you. Okay, I have the first question coming from Jesselyn. I hope